So this time of year, you often get a lot of icy, frosty roads, paths, wet leaves that are really slippy, and it's kind of nice to have a shoe with really good grip, but also one which is comfortable, cushioned, and nice to run on roads and on trails. And one shoe that I really like is the New Balance Fresh Foam Morbi Trail 3, which is a high cushioned trail shoe. So obviously, because it's high stack, you're not going to take this on many technical trails, but what it is good for, actually, I found, is for running on icy, slippy pavements and roads, because in all intents and purposes it feels like a road shoe, with all the cushion and the nice little bounce, but with the Vibram grip you feel so safe and secure. They also look quite nice, so I can happily wear them to the gym without looking like an idiot. You can't say that about loads of trail shoes. And if I wanted to do a bit of off-road, I could as well. But like I said, they're not a trail shoe that I would race in or do any kind of technical trails in. They're quite heavy. I think they're around about 320, 330 grams. They're not the lightest, although for a trail shoe it's not terrible. It's more the cushion. Like you can see, this road's really slippy, and the Vibram grip really helping me feel secure on this pavement. You just got to be careful. I mean, I don't know if you can see that on the floor, but that's pretty much frosty ice on that floor, on that concrete. And if I had my other normal shoes on today, running shoes, if I had the Suplas on, for instance, I'd be all over the place. I'd have to be really careful. With these on, I'm not really having to adjust the way I run at all, really. It's got that nice Vibram grip with the lugs that grip the surface, so I'm finding it quite easy to run on this. And there are some really slippy patches, actually, so it's kind of good to have an option like this to pick out, even if I'm not going to use them for trail runs. It's kind of nice to use them for this scenario, this use case. I think you can probably get them at a decent price as well. They're not that expensive compared to the road shoes. You're probably looking at around the £100 mark for a pair of these. They're really nice and cushioned, and they've got a nice bounce, and one of my favourite shoes to run in when the roads get slippy. It gets hard to grip, and if I wanted to do a kind of semi-technical, not technical really, but you know what I mean, I wanted to go off-road a little bit as part of my run, I could do with these. And the main thing is, on the road they're perfectly fine as well. Like, you get some trail shoes that can feel really harsh running on pavement. This feels just like a road shoe. It's like I said, well cushioned, well protecting my legs, comfortable, really nice upper, just a little bit heavier than my usual shoe that I would use, although it's no heavier than the Hoka Skyward X, for instance. The main difference is if I had them on today, I'd be slipping and sliding a bit, whereas with these it's very, very safe and secure. A really wide landing base on this shoe, just like with the More V5, but it's such a nice landing base. It's not got as high a stack as that shoe. I think this is somewhere around towards 40mm stack height. I have to check that. It looks bigger than it is because it has sidewalls, another sort of stability feature of the shoe that keeps your foot locked in. And so if you do some kind of non-technical trails with this, going over loose gravel or tree roots, your ankle's going to stay secure, your foot's going to stay locked in. That centre path kind of technology that keeps your foot centred is prevalent in the shoe, as it is in a lot of high stack trail shoes, which have started to become a thing. They've kind of taken the technology from road shoes and started to apply them to trail shoes. I'm not entirely sure what I think about that. I mean, I've used the Tecton X3 on Hoka, which is a lovely shoe. It's the closest thing I've used on the trails to a road shoe. Nice and light, very responsive. You get a nice bounce, but you do feel stable in it because it's got a large landing base. I've heard the Adidas Terex Ultra is not so stable. Anyway, I'm here now. It was a nice little run. Every step counts. So now hit my local park after a little stretch in the gym. I do find like it really helps if I go to the gym first sometimes. You know, go for a little run, hit the gym, stretch, do some kind of light core work, and then go for a run. And it helps like my legs wake up in the morning before I actually start running with them. Something I like to do every now and again. I normally just go for a run, but sometimes I just think I'd end up at the gym, and then sometimes I think, right, gym first today, my legs need to wake up. And this morning was one of those days. It's very slippy, this ground, and as I said, I've got the More V3 trails on, so they've only got to version 3, I believe, unless I've missed one, which is quite possible. And anyone looking for a decent price shoe to go running in with a really good grip and a nice little bounce, you can't go far wrong with these actually. Nice and wide for people with wide feet as well. Very snug and cozy, keep your feet very warm. I'm not so sure these would be great in the summer, but my feet feel nice and warm at the moment, that's for sure. And very protective and cushioned, and most importantly, got a great grip, particularly if you're going downhill in one of these kind of mornings where it's really skiddy and slippy. This is going to give you good grip. It's also going to give you good cushioning, which is one of the main things. You want to protect your legs going downhill and your quads, because that fatigue, you may not feel it initially, but it'll start to set in and you don't want it to start affecting you near your race, your target races. So the more protective the shoe is, the better. So you know, I'll say it now, I'm into more cushion shoes. I know there's been quite a vocal campaign that's against, you know, cushion max stack shoes, saying they're no good for you and whatever else, and I, you know, I'll happily listen to that debate, and maybe I'll try it one day, but for now these work for me, and it has helped me avoid injury. And I feel like it's not so much about the cushion for me that's the issue, it's about how stable the shoe is. And as we've talked about a lot on my videos, you know, you can have a max cushion shoe that's very stable, and you can have a shoe that's got less cushion that's unstable, basically based on how the shoe's designed. If it's got a very narrow platform but less stack, it could be more unstable than something with a higher stack and a larger platform to land on. So it's obvious, isn't it? I mean, so it's not simple as looking at the amount of stack height and cushion and then just deciding whether something's stable or not. There's a lot that goes into it. Sidewalls, the foam itself is a huge factor. If you've got you know, a shoe that's got soft PEVA foam without a plate, a stabilising agent of the plate, could be very unstable. It wouldn't really matter what stack height it is. I mean, I've heard the SL2, which is a lot of people love, I've heard that can be a little bit unstable. The Balos shoe I love with the Fresh Foam X can be a bit unstable. You know, you get a slightly unstable bounce to that shoe. Right, I'm going through really slippy ground now, and even these shoes are slipping, so God knows what it'd be like in the Super Blast. The thing is, the difference is I don't feel like I'm going to fall in these shoes, whereas in the Super Blast I think I'd be flying at the moment, literally. So going back to what I was saying, these shoes I think are a good combination of stable, cushioned, with a really good grip, something that actually is going to feel fun and nice to run in, and you're going to feel like you're not going to deck it on these slippy pavements. So not that I'm wishing for you to buy more shoes, but I think it's a good idea to have an option like this in your rotation. Call it your slippy day shoe or whatever you want, and you don't need to be a trail runner. You know, you can, like I said, you can get these and run on concrete, and like I'm doing now, and it's perfectly fine. They're just, you know, it's there for you if you want to run on trails. It's not the quickest, you know, I would never race in this in a cross country or trail race, but it's perfectly fine for this kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to say. I've been stupid and got the white colourway of this, so it's not probably the best colourway for doing trail running, but I don't see that as a use case for me for this shoe. It's a shoe that I would take up to Sheffield, for instance, over Christmas time when I go and see mother and father-in-law, and I know that there it's going to be very icy and cold, and this will serve me well with the grip it's got, you know, compared to my other running shoes, I'll be able to use this and go on some nice long distance runs with this into the countryside and enjoy it. And there's a magpie on its own, so I'll salute you. Salute you, Mr. Magpie. I don't know if any of you guys have got, or girls have got superstitions. That's one of mine. If I see a magpie on their own, I always salute them, because I know that means they've probably lost their partner and they're all alone, because they only stay with one partner for the rest of their lives. Unlike us, where everyone seems to be getting divorced left, right and centre, which is you know, if you look at it either way, sad state of affairs, or just actually what was actually meant to be. We're not meant to have one partner for the rest of our lives. But anyway, it's going a bit deep now, so I'll shut up and I'll leave you to it. But hopefully that's been useful for you. The More V3 Trail, fresh foam trail from New Balance. Really recommend this shoe. It's a lovely balance between cushion, stability, grip, and you can use it on roads, light trails, multi-purpose, and I believe it's not that expensive. I'll see if I can find a best price and I'll put it in this video for you. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye bye.